beaver cap and his checkered tie. Let's see what he has to say. What's he got for us this time? They're probably Blu-rays.
Aficionados quiz.
It's a guilty pleasure.
Aficionados quiz.
In the common measure.
Aficionados.
Shadow lights, shoot the camera, smile for the world in panoramas. He likes to impersonate Walk-On.
Hey everybody, Aficionados Chris here, and today I have a very special guest, and this is probably my first in-person celebrity interview. We could call you a celebrity if you think. Is that flattering enough?
It's very flattering.
Good.
It's probably too much.
Well, you're big enough to be on my silly
Which
channel.
is nice, thank you.
There you go.
Thanks for having me.
Marÿke.
Yes.
Thank you. Marÿke Hendrikse, it rhymes with Jamaican.
It does.
It's exotic like that. If you do not know that name, and well, with voice actors, it's very common that they don't know the name to the voice.
Yep.
She was the voice of Gilda in the My Little Pony TV series, and of course, a very popular character, Sonata, in Rainbow Rocks, and for an anime dork like me, she's one of my favorite characters. She's Revy on Black Lagoon. I love that character.
It's my favorite.
I'm sure you're nothing like her in real life. Okay, maybe you swear a little bit, who knows?
That would be. Yes.
I have the same thing, I'm from Boston, so.
Are you?
I am.
I'm from Toronto.
Well, there you go, it's basically the Canada Boston.
It's a little East Coast kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, it's Boston, East Coast here. Now, the first thing that a lot of people want to, because I actually interview a lot of voice actors on my channel, but not in person in this case. A lot of people who watch the channel want to get into voice acting, are very fascinated with the medium in general. First things first, what got you interested in even pursuing that as a career? Because some people, they don't even start thinking, I'm going to do voice acting, some are musicians, some are comedians. What got you the position as a voice actress?
Well, I knew, as an actor, I started acting when I was a teenager, and I knew that you could work in cartoons, and so it always interested me. And then I had asked my agents, and my agents in Toronto, and they had said that it was really hard to get into that aspect of the industry. So I did a play in which I had to cry like a baby, and it's kind of like it was like a director's concept. So I sat at the front of the stage and cried like a baby while my character as a baby was being taken off stage and the whole life story was explained.
So you're basically the voice of an infant.
That's right. And so my agents afterwards came to the stage door, they came to see the play, and they went to the stage door and said to me, the first thing they said to me was, "Oh my God, that was the most realistic baby cry ever. We have to get you doing voice work." So that's kind of how that started. So I'd done, theater, lots of theater, and some film and television and that kind of stuff before. So I'd been acting for quite a while before I started doing voice work. So that's kind of how it was like a morph.
Well, considering it's voice acting, that's one thing a lot of people forget. It's not about doing silly voices, it's about the acting.
Absolutely, that is key. I can't tell you how much I stress that you're right. It isn't about doing silly voices. It's about a person. It's about a person and how they fit into a story. And if you start with a silly voice, that silly voice doesn't get backed by any sort of emotional depth. So when you're asked to do something that has some emotion in it, it's gonna be difficult for you. So
especially if
absolutely
you're doing impressions, you got to be able to convey a lot of emotions if you're that good at the impression.
Right.
Maybe you can do Gilbert Gottfried, but can you do Gilbert Gottfried getting electrocuted?
Yep.
Like you got to set that apart.
You're absolutely
all
right.
part of the acting. Now the other thing, because like I mentioned earlier, is that you're very popular in the My Little Pony fandom with those two voices, Gilda and Sonata. And like I also mentioned, you do some anime as well, and a couple video games I looked up.
Yeah.
Considering anime, and we'll say Western animation for everyone out there, is very different because with Western animation, you usually do the dialogue and the animation has to get finished,
That's
or
right.
it's only half finished. With anime, it's already done, you're
That's
just
right.
dubbing over.
Yeah, usually from
sound
Japanese
flaps.
to English.
So is there any difficulty in doing that? Do some people have,
Tons.
so people have a problem with trying to match the lip flaps?
Yeah, and what happens sometimes is that it's a particular skill as you sort of are kind of flowing towards, and it is a particular skill. And what is hard about it is, and some people never get used to it, is the idea that you have to make your performance as real as you can and in the moment as you can while you're confined to the other person's framework of their performance. So the lip flaps and the action that they're doing, or they decided to sigh there and you may not have chosen to do that as an actor, you've got to do those things and make them sound in the moment and very natural. And that's where, plus the timing, plus coming in at the right, it can be really kind of daunting for people. And so some people are really good at it and other people have difficulty with it. So
I mean, because some of them, with Japanese actually have less words than us when they have a sentence, so a few words could be like a full sentence to us, so it must be really hard to do both a really good performance of the character and also try to match the lips that are just flapping.
Yeah, and the writers do a really good job with that, 99% of the time, where there's a translator, and then the translation is given to a writer, and the writer actually expands on the translation to either match the flaps as best they can or shorten the idea so that it matches the flap. So if something takes shorter to say in Japanese than it would in English, then they'll try and shorten the idea somehow. But so that it still makes sense. It's hugely challenging to write for dubbing.
Especially since there's purists out there that want it to be exactly the way it was in its original native
and
country.
that's not always going to happen.
Well, I prefer my anime dubbed, so I'll take what I can get.
Okay.
I'm a dubber, and that's controversial. Sorry,
It's
everyone.
so controversial.
Very controversial. The other thing that I think a lot of people want to know, especially especially with this convention that's going on right now, you're sort of a pseudo celebrity, like a rock star, I guess you could say, in a second case because of the character you play in Rainbow Rocks. When did you actually find out about the brony fandom, as it were? Was it shocking to you, or was it just a cool little fad that you wanted to get into and kind of understand?
I guess I probably found out about it maybe towards the beginning of season 2 recording. I think, I'm not sure about the timing, but I'm never really surprised because you just never know what's going to be a hit. You just cannot predict it. So knowing the kind of fandom that comes out of anime, it's animation, yes, it's different, and we've touched on a little bit of that already, but I wasn't necessarily surprised to see the kind of interest that was taken in this particular show. Why this particular show, I can't necessarily explain it. I think there are great things about the show, of course people like it, but there's lots of great things about lots of different shows that never go anywhere and never have any big fandoms, so that's always interesting to see. So, and I just thought it was really interesting. First of all, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, wait, what? Bronies are what? And I explained that to people, a lot of my friends are non-actors, and when I explained it to them, they're like, wait, what are you talking about? But I explained, and the thing that's such an unusual thing is how kind and sweet and generous everybody is. That's just very different.
It's a very nice environment.
It is a very nice
When you walk in, it's very warm and wonderful.
Yep.
It's one thing I got it. That's why I like coming and doing press for these things.
Yes.
It's a very warm and wonderful
For sure.
And I think we'll move on to the last question.
Okay.
A lot of people will want to know this because, like I said, there's a lot of aspiring voice actors out there who want to get into the industry, are interested in it, or want to do what I do maybe and talk to them. What do you think would be the best advice you can give to anyone who wants to pursue that particular goal, reach that goal that they have their heart set on, essentially?
Being a voice actor.
Oh, of course, yes, voice acting.
I think to understand this thing that you understand is that it's acting, right?
I think we made that clear.
Yeah, I think we made that pretty clear now. And so, practice acting. Whether it's one of the best training things that you can do, for me, in my personal opinion, is working in theater, doing theater. It's got a lot of the same attributes that you need to work in voiceover. And that I think is important. The other thing that working on your craft is important. And even if that's getting together with a group of friends and reading a play out loud, do those kind of things, do them. And of course, then there's practicalities. You have to be in a center that produces animation. You can't really live in wherever it is that doesn't have a production center of vibrant activity of animation. You gotta live somewhere. You gotta live in Los Angeles, for example. To live in Vancouver or wherever the other places where they do English-based animation. So those are really things. And the other important thing is being professional, being prepared, showing up on time.
So not me.
Yeah, not me, not you. No, totally you. Your reputation will get you back in the room. Your first time getting in the room, that's usually talent-based. But the second time you're in the room, it's going to be about how professional you were. Because if you were talented in the first place, well, that's already taken care of. The second thing you got to do is be nice enough and pleasant enough to work with that they want to bring you back in again.
I think that's sound advice. I think a lot of people can take away from that. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
And if you haven't, follow her on Twitter, because we're actually going to put it at the bottom here so you can follow Marÿke. Sorry.
That's close.
Marÿke.
There you go.
Because she's we wish she was Jamaican. She sounds exotic enough.
I was born in the Bahamas. That helps.
Close enough?
Yeah, close.
There we go. You might as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and please have a wonderful day.
Bye!
Hey Mom, look! I finished the video. Are you proud of me? If you happen to like what you saw, then you can hit that subscribe button for more. And if you want to be extra generous, you can donate to my Patreon page in the link below. You can donate anywhere from 25 cents to a whole $1. Every little bit helps. Anyone who donates gets their name at the end of the credits of every video, just like these awesome supporters. And if you'd like updates on future projects, you can like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter. Oh, you're still here? Well, since you've stayed this long, you can check out some of my previous videos.